welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi. And today we were going to share a little tweet from Montana Wong.
Yep.
Talking about the Ethereum merge.
Yeah, you've been wanting to talk about this merge.
Yeah, it's happening in September. And
yeah, I guess good reason to talk about it now. And it reminds me of the days where we were like focused on Polkadot because they had the parachain launching.
Yeah.
So we spent like a month focusing on the Polkadot ecosystem, going through all the different projects, who's going to be the parachain slot winners. Let's look at Kusama, all that good stuff, right? So for those of you guys listening who are still trickling around from those days, we're going to revisit that ecosystem at some point and all the other ecosystems. So
that includes Moonbeam.
So very much includes Moonbeam. But the point is, next month is the mergening for Ethereum. Yeah. Does anybody call it that? Whatever.
Well, this guy's calling it the triple Halvening.
So that's what got our attention, right?
So it's funny, is triple Halvening is more like the eighthening. Is that what that is?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, that's definitely an eighthening.
Okay. Triple Halvening is an eighthening. So what does that mean? I don't know, dude. But we saw this tweet thread. It got tons of likes and engagement, and it's on topic of the Ethereum merge. And it's a month away, so I think that is going to be a theme. We need to continually revisit this topic every week at least.
We'll talk about this page here where there's a progress bar of Ethereum right here.
That's wild. And it's actually like tasks, right?
Yeah.
Like so the progress bar actually notches forward based on the completion of a task.
That's right.
I don't know who's doing these tasks. I guess either the community or there's a foundation, I'm sure. Yeah. Just like there is in Decentraland, right?
So,
foundation basically means like a team.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of go through this tweet. It's actually very interesting. It does break down everything that we need to know about the merge. And so let's start with this. For those of you who aren't familiar, the merge is an upcoming hard fork to the Ethereum network that transition it from the proof of work to proof of stake.
Okay.
So
does this mean like there's going to be another Ethereum like Classic 2 as a result of this hard fork?
Only if the community supports the previous fork, which I don't think they will.
Interesting.
I think everybody's for the proof of stake.
Okay.
I don't know if we should go over what the difference between proof of work and proof of stake is, but the short form explanation is proof of work is getting a bunch of miners to verify transactions via discovering a number that satisfies the linking between two blocks. And that's
But when you say miners, you mean like dudes literally like running computers.
Exactly.
Right? Hardware components and stuff like that. All those like crazy shots you see of like, these ginormous hardware farms in like Iceland or Greenland or whatever. Yeah. Those are mining operations, right? And that's the backbone to like the validation of this network, right?
Yeah.
So they're transitioning away from that because it's costly. It's very limiting. Like who the hell knows how to do that for one?
Sure, yeah.
And proof of stake, all you need is what? Money?
All you need is money. Yeah. And so with proof of work, it requires hashing power and it requires these rigs. Mm-hmm. Proof of stake requires a bunch of money, and it's obviously a lot more efficient from like the expenditure perspective because it doesn't cost energy for proof of stake. So continuing on. So what is a triple halvening? Let's start with the breakdown of the name. Halvening refers to the concept of Bitcoin algorithm that automatically reduces the amount of Bitcoin reward to miners by half every few years. What this does, it reduces the issuance rate of Bitcoin over time and creates a deflationary pressure. And so this reduces the Bitcoin sell pressure, and as you can see, he has a chart here that basically shows the halvening events and the results of what happens after the halvening.
Yeah.
And so every halvening number goes up, it seems, for Bitcoin.
Yeah, so basically why is there a motivation to make Ethereum deflationary? Like, in the same sense that Bitcoin is, right?
Yeah, why is there a motivation to make it deflationary? I mean,
from an economic standpoint, it's just it introduces a scarcity element to this asset class, the Ethereum, right? Bitcoin, that is its main selling point, right? It's a scarce.
Sure.
That's what you keep telling me.
Yeah.
It's a
better version of gold.
It's quantifiable scarcity. Yeah, gold. We know it's a scarce asset on Earth. I don't know if you can actually tell how much exists on the planet. Yeah. Like, I'm sure there's some geologists out there who could chime in.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we have the tools to put out some sound waves throughout Earth's core. It'll tell us exactly how much gold exists, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But we know it's a finite source. But even like, if we figure out how to like, mine asteroids at some point, it's so potentially it's not that finite, right? But Bitcoin, it's programmably finite, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Making it a scarce asset, and then all these
and it's verifiable too.
Yeah, and all these other algorithmic components just to like create that deflationary pressure. Yeah, like this guy says, it's basic economics, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's why it's working so well.
Yeah, Economy 101. Yeah, so this is basic economics. Ethereum's ETH issuance today under proof of work works slightly differently. Instead of algorithmically reducing the miner ETH reward, it's done through software updates that have been agreed upon by the community.
Yeah, this is interesting.
So the genesis to 2017, it was a 5 Ether per discovered block.
Okay.
And then in 2017 to 2019, it was 3 Ether, changed via the EIP 649.
So that's roughly 2 years after the fact, I guess.
Yeah. And then 2019 till now, another 2 years.
Another 2 years.
We have 2 Ether changed via EIP 1234.
Interesting.
So currently, 6,500 new Ethereum blocks are mined per day, which comes out to about 13,000 ETH issued per day, which is roughly $23 million a day issued and paid to miners. So at these rates, the new supply ETH increases at 4.3% a year. So we have an inflationary Ethereum token.
Yeah.
And so here it goes on to one of the major reasons why the issuance rate is high is to incentivize miners to choose to mine this particular blockchain. So it costs a significant amount of money and energy to run Ethereum miners. So these mining rewards can be thought of as bribes. And generally speaking, the more miners the network has, the more secure it is as it becomes more expensive to try a 51% attack of the network. So
why? Just because it's more distributed? If there's more nodes in the network, it's just it's more decentralized, right? It's just
think about it. If you only had one miner and it was protecting the Ethereum blockchain, then I could get 2 miners and all of a sudden I can take over the entire blockchain.
Okay,
that's a 51% attack.
Yeah,
and so if you incentivize people to mine Ethereum, there's going to be more miners.
More distribution. Tougher to attack.
Exactly.
Okay. So that is literally the purpose of the network. I mean, the real purpose of Ethereum, right, is to be that verification layer that you're talking about, because it's the blockchain, right? But in order for that to like remain, I guess, true, it can't ever be violated, right? Like the truth that exists within that blockchain data.
Exactly.
Right? So how long has it been active now? Since 2014 or something like
2014,
that? 2014, 2015?
Yeah.
So we're almost at 10 years of like non-attack status, I guess. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty reliable.
I mean, it's been hacked. The Ethereum DAO has been hacked, but that's not the blockchain itself. So,
well, that's what I mean though. But because this whole economic incentive model is just to uphold the security layer.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise you need that confidence in the developers to use Ethereum because it's going to be secure.
Yeah.
Right. Your business doesn't fall apart just because the blockchain was compromised via a 51% attack. So
I see.
It's very important.
Yeah,
so the more money paid to miner per block, the more miners will compete for the block reward. Very simple game theory, and it's worked so far. So now one of the biggest effects of the merge that has people excited is the transition to proof of stake, which switches the Ethereum network from a miner secured one to a validator secured one. Mm-hmm. A validator secured network will reduce the overall energy consumption by 99.95%.
So now Elon can stop crying, basically, right?
Well, Elon's going to cry about Bitcoin because...
Well, I guess, Bitcoin has no plans to transition over, right? So, then he can start pumping ETH a little bit harder.
Nor it shouldn't transition over.
How come?
Just because it forces humanity to switch to renewable resources. If Bitcoin was powered by the sun, would it matter how much energy it was consuming?
Probably not.
Yeah. So
unless
right now it's a problem because the energy powering Bitcoin comes from fossil fuels for the most part.
True.
So that's the problem.
So you think by Bitcoin increasing its value proposition to the world at scale, it's going to expedite the transition for humanity? I
think it's going to contribute to it.
Figure out renewable sources. Because I mean, if there's a global competition among nations and stuff, superpowers, maybe it'll make the energy demands like much more clear.
Well, it ultimately is going to be an economic question for countries to mine Bitcoin, because if it's cheaper to use solar energy to mine Bitcoin, then that country's going to win, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So
there's a little bit of technology, I guess, like making solar or other renewable sources more efficient,
economically viable.
Yeah,
specifically,
because you're right that is the driver of everything.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's not going to be like, dude, you know what, this Bitcoin stuff's great, but you know what, it'd be even better if we didn't like fuck up our planet in the process. But that's not how.
Yeah.
Positions of power like think. Yeah, you're right. It's all about that bottom line, right?
Yeah,
like
it is.
If this source of Bitcoin production is much more efficient and cost effective, let's do it, right?
No, I totally agree. And so he continues on with, by design, validators consume very small amounts of energy. That's because they use game theory involving capital and punishment to secure the network rather than special hardware and energy. This directly causes the first part of this one in a lifetime triple halvening phenomena.
Jeez.
So part one, exponential reduction in issuance. Since validators consume less energy to run, the network can pay smaller block rewards to provide incentives for people to run them. So the less expensive for you to run an Ethereum node, the less that you need to be compensated to continue running it.
I see.
Because now your profit margins are much higher, so therefore you can accept less payment.
So this is good. Again, from like a economic standpoint, it just means less emission of the token, right?
Yeah,
by reducing that supply.
Perfect.
So that's good.
So yeah, he continues on with what you're saying. Annual issuance of ETH will drop from 4.3% pre-merge to an estimated 0.4% post-merge.
I wonder how that was determined. This difference in.
Well, they take the cost per kilowatt to run Ethereum.
Yes,
and then they're saying, okay, now you don't need any miners. You just need a server to hold a bunch of money. And there's going to be a punishment. If you start trying to violate the rules of the blockchain, like trying to manipulate the blocks, then you get penalized the ETH that you've staked. And so in order to reduce that chance, I mean, you get that penalty and you're incentivized not to violate that Ethereum blockchain rules, right?
Yeah.
So to do that, it costs a lot less because now you don't need miners to secure transactions anymore, right? You're not consuming all that energy.
Okay.
And so if you're not consuming all that energy, then it costs a lot less to run the Ethereum network with this validator.
Yeah, a lot. I see what you said. A lot less, but how much less is what I'm saying. Like,
well, you still
the 10x like decrease? Is that like an arbitrary figure?
No, it's not arbitrary.
Are they like just throwing like a post-merge compensation number out there and seeing if it works?
It's like take a standard server,
okay,
and you understand how much energy it consumes.
Yeah.
And then you compare that to an ant miner.
Yes.
And then you see the power consumption for both, and then you have a 10x difference.
Okay, so it was calculated.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just worried if it was not calculated or if there's some sort of miscalculation. How much volatility can that introduce, like overall? Like,
yeah, I'm sure
there's some sort of like equilibrium state that needs to be achieved and understood amongst the miners in order for it to be like, okay, we're all being properly compensated, lads.
Yeah, if you have an old server that consumes
validators, sorry.
Right, but if you have an old server that consumes a lot more energy, it's not going to be a 10x. It might be an 8x return for you, right? So, so it completely depends on the efficiency of your server.
Okay,
right
now.
But they don't consume as much as an ant miner, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So this was interesting. I really like this meme here. It says this guy from Ultrasound Issuance. He says issuance now is 15K ETH per day. Issuance at merge is 1.5K ETH per day. And then he's at a party and he's like, they don't know.
That's you, dude.
That's definitely me.
Yeah. Why is that you, dude?
I mean,
I think you just know too damn much. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's like everybody's like, going on with their life, like enjoying things, like oblivious to what's happening around them.
Grinding and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're at the party like, dude, it's like why are y'all... why do you guys even exist?
Yeah.
It's like you guys burden my thoughts, you assholes. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's a great meme.
Yeah. So this is a 10x reduction in daily sell pressure. So this is the important part here.
Yeah.
For example, if there's $20 million worth of ETH being sold on the market every day to cover energy costs, Post-merge, it would only be 2 million. So generally, sell pressure goes down means the price goes up. So this change signals a transition from a mine and dump economy to a stake and restake economy. So now he goes on to part 2, EIP 1559, burn after sending. So 1559 is a software update to Ethereum that burns up a portion of each transaction fee. So basically, every single transaction that happens after EIP 1559, there's a portion of that transaction that gets completely burned.
Yeah.
So we have an additional component to the reduction of supply of ETH.
Yep.
So now you're emitting less Ethereum and you're also burning
Actively
Ethereum.
burning it at the same time.
Right. So like mentioned earlier, generally when supply goes down, price goes up. EIP 1559 already went live during the London hard fork on August 2021, so this feature will act as a compounding effect on the overall issuance. So, okay, then lockup period. So you may have heard of the term staking ETH on the beacon chain. What this refers to is the act of providing your ETH to a validator to help secure the future post-merge network. As a reward for staking your ETH with a validator and helping secure the network, you are given block rewards. The current projected income rate is roughly 4% APY, so annual percentage yield.
Oh, boy.
So basically, staking in a validator node, you get roughly 4% per year.
You're
on
yielding
your ETH.
additional Ethereum, right? 4%
That's right.
a year.
So it is currently possible to stake your ETH with a validator and earn yield, even though we are pre-merged. So right now, $23 billion worth of ETH is being staked. This is about 10% of the total ETH supply. So you might be wondering, won't everyone just unstake their ETH after the merge and dump it? It's like, no. He says ETH withdrawals are currently implemented and are planned to be added in a post-merge software update. And so there's going to be a queue, and so not everybody can actually sell their ETH once post-merge happens.
So there's been a lot of considerations like ahead of time, just because we understand the nature of, markets and human psychology and behavior. We have enough data to kind of predict like what would happen, in context of what the future plans are for this, mergening event. Yeah, if all of a sudden like everybody has access to their funds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unpredictable what the outcome of that will be, but in most cases when people are generating yield, it's for a return that can either be leveraged for, I don't know, there's tons of DeFi ecosystems you could plug those funds into, so that means, you're selling it.
Yes.
Or not, yeah. Or not. I mean, you're just plugging in the ETH you yielded into an existing DeFi protocol. I mean, that's essentially like a lockup of funds.
Yeah, you're leveraging the DeFi ecosystem with Ethereum.
Yeah, so all that's good. So yeah, that's another component that's even potentially not considered here is the resurgence of a new phase to the DeFi,
For sure.
DeFi resurgence in the Ethereum ecosystem. Like now that people are generating all this yield from staking it into the ETH validator ecosystem.
That's such a good point.
It's going to expand DeFi potential,
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because now you are incentivized to hold on to your ETH, and they're like, why don't you hold it on to our protocol, which will yield you
even
10%.
Greater than 4%, dude.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on, dude. This is boomer gains.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here, dude.
Yeah.
How about you use that ETH to stake this loan network, or how about you use this ETH to
stake this ETH and get like some shitcoin, right?
Exactly.
1,000% yield.
Yeah, when we saw this like a couple years ago, the whole, DeFi summer, shitcoin mania, food coins and whatnot. But you think that's the end of that? Hell no, dude. It's coming back.
Not.
And yeah, this is the fuel to like the next, bull cycle. So these are things we need to keep our eyes on. So this is good. Yeah. This is important. This mergening event is actually like a very good.
It's the start of a mania.
Well, I don't think it's going to be like the big catalyst. Like that, all of a sudden, like next day, everything booms. Yeah. But it's a good starting point to creating new value from the Ethereum ecosystem, which is going to trickle down everywhere else.
Yeah, the ecosystem adjusts, and they're like, oh, everybody's holding now their ETH, and so why don't you hold it in our protocol? And so developers are going to make DeFi a little bit better. And
then that's going to help again with the locking up of ETH.
Right.
Which is going to create less sell pressure, more upside potential. You know, I mean, it's looking pretty juicy, dude.
So flippening?
I don't know. That's a future video. We're going to have to think about that, dude. ETH versus Bitcoin. I mean, because, clearly the Ethereum Foundation, community, organization, whatever, this is all economic, adjustments, I think, to try and, have that side-by-side potential comparison. Like, which digital asset has more innate value to it, I guess, like just from like an economic standpoint, right? And so this is very competing to Bitcoin's proposition because Bitcoin only has like a solo value prop, right? It's just we are like a digital store of value.
For sure.
But Ethereum is so much more than that, right?
Oh,
and now
way
it has
more.
potential competing like economic prospects too.
Right.
Yeah, digital store of value potentially. I don't know.
So to summarize here, ETH is experiencing exponential reduction in issuance rate, reduction in supply due to burning of a portion of every transaction fee, and reduction in available supply due to staked ETH being locked before withdrawals are implemented. So, of course, none of this is investment advice, but we're talking about the game theory of all these components combined, and like it seems like a good thing for the entire network.
I think so, too. And I like the idea of proof of stake. It's less friction involved, like by being a participant.
Right.
And that's one thing I'm starting to understand and identify with all spaces in this crypto space.
Yeah.
Dude, like the reduction of friction is like so critical. Like to become everybody wants their piece of that Ethereum reward pie, right? But just don't even consider entering into that realm. Like I have to like figure out the logistics of having like a hardware operation. Like who the hell is going to go through all that? I mean, there's proper incentive to do that.
Yeah.
But not everyone has the time, the financial bandwidth, or I don't know, even like just a follow through to go through with an operation such as that. But when it comes to, all I have to do is plug in my net worth into some sort of like a proof of stake validator pool, like all of a sudden the accessibility just 100x's, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
And like you said, that's going to strengthen the ecosystem, the security of it. It's going to be more validators as opposed to like concentration of just like a small, a handful of giga operators.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that accessibility is a big deal because right now getting an ant miner is too expensive and therefore is not accessible.
Yeah.
But if you have, $10 worth of ETH, you can delegate that to a pool or stake it into a pool, and all of a sudden you're participating in this larger ecosystem getting 4% APY.
Yeah. I think this is definitely very good. This is going to be extremely healthy for the longevity of Ethereum. And I guess, like I said, everything that's tied to it, right? Like all the different emerging ecosystems that are building on top of Ethereum.
Yeah,
so
the entire platform benefits.
Yeah. And like I said, everybody's participating from the development landscape right now. I think everything is going to be richer. Like liquidity is going to be richer. What else?
Liquidity. I guess just the whole ecosystem. Just the fact that
liquidity is the most important thing.
Yeah, because that brings in developers.
And then more developers means more cool shit's being built.
Yeah,
more value for Ethereum overall. So yeah, dude.
More pizza coins.
More everything. So this is very bullish news. So yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on this. Keep up on that progress bar. Maybe we should actually see if we could find out what those completed tasks are.
Yeah, I'm sure
we can figure that out somehow.
It's probably on GitHub and it's all there.
Yeah, I guess let us know in the comments if you want us to do that digging or not. Like it's probably going to be like straight up like Notion docs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I'm curious what these 13 open tasks are.
Yeah, let's see what it takes to merge Ethereum, dude. From a task perspective, it's pretty cool.
All right, well, that's the video today, talking about the merge for Ethereum. Let us know what you think. Do you think it's going to be bullish for Ethereum? Do you think it's going to flip Bitcoin? That's probably going to be for another video. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io and Rovi AI. And we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.